Episode 12 From Favor to Chains. It began with blessing. Israel entered Egypt not as captives but as guests. A family welcomed because of one man's obedience. A nation preserved through one man's faith. Joseph stood in power, his word carried authority, his wisdom fed empires. And for a time, Israel flourished. They multiplied, they settled, they grew strong. So strong that Egypt began to notice. But favor fades when memory dies. A new Pharaoh rose, one who did not know Joseph, one who did not remember the famine, the wisdom, the mercy. What Egypt once celebrated, it now feared. And fear always looks for control. Look, they said, the people are too many, too mighty. The blessing of God became a threat to man. So Egypt changed the rules. Guests became laborers, laborers became slaves. Brick by brick, chain by chain, the nation that entered Egypt under protection now lived under oppression. Fields replaced homes, whips replaced favor, silence replaced songs. Yet even in bondage, the promise endured. The more they were oppressed, the more they multiplied. Because God's blessing cannot be crushed by cruelty. Pharaoh tightened his grip. Harder labor, heavier burdens. And when control failed, desperation followed. A command was given quietly, cruelly. Every Hebrew son was to be thrown into the Nile. Fear turned into genocide. But heaven was watching. In the midst of death, God prepared deliverance. A child was born, hidden in faith. Placed in a basket, laid among reeds, floating between death and destiny. The river meant for destruction became the path of salvation. A Hebrew child was raised in Pharaoh's house. The oppressed living under the roof of the oppressor. God was moving silently. The chains grew heavy, the cries grew loud. And Scripture tells us, God heard their groaning. God remembered his covenant. God saw the people. God knew. Bondage had an expiration date. Because Egypt was never their home. Slavery was never their destiny. And God was already preparing a deliverer from within the very system meant to destroy them. This was no accident. This was alignment. The rise of a nation had become the birth of a rescue. And the stage was set for confrontation between power and promise. This has been a Spirit Script Studios creation, From Favor to Chains. New episodes drop every Sunday. Join us next time for episode 13, Drawn from the Water, the birth of Moses and the beginning of deliverance. Thank you for watching. By liking and subscribing, you help these stories reach hearts still crying out for freedom. The story is unfolding,